Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. It has been what seems like forever since I have done a homeschool video, and I couldn't think of a better time than right now, prepping for the holidays, to bring one of my favorite subjects in homeschool videos to you, and that is Christmas school. So if you are looking for a break from the mundane in your homeschooling year, this is the video for you. Some of you may not know what Christmas school is, and it's not an original term. It's nothing I came up with. We actually learned about Christmas school through my friend who homeschools, and she learned about it through Sarah McKenzie of Read Aloud Revival, who actually does a Christmas school curriculum that she offers every single year on her website. And Christmas school, honestly, is just a wonderful time to slow down, to reignite the passion for schooling, especially when in that daily grind, everyone is getting tired. You know, the holidays can be so stressful anyways, just trying to remember things. But also, I think as moms, we make it extra stressful for ourselves because we want to bring that magic in for our children. But at the same time, we don't really want to neglect their academics. And so Christmas school is a really wonderful way to combine all of that. It honestly takes quite a bit off of your plate, both as a mom and as an educator, but it keeps just that sparkle alive for enjoying things during this season. Another thing that I love about Christmas school is the fact that it gives us the opportunity to put a lot of the academics that we have been working on in place into functional activities. So for example, this year and part of last year with math, Kevin has been working on fractions. And so instead of having to add baking cookies on top of our regular school, this is an opportunity for him to use what he's learned on pen and paper and actually put it into practice by helping me bake those cookies. But because it's not an extra thing, for me, it is so much more enjoyable and it becomes a living academic because baking and cooking are things that I want my kids to know how to do anyways, following directions, reading a recipe, things like that. And so I just feel so much more freedom being able to do those during this season than I really do the rest of the year. And I know that's probably like a total mental thing, but there's just something about the Christmas season that makes me want to just do all the fun things and give myself permission to really enjoy this season of being at home with my kids. So if you want to learn more, stick around for the rest of this video. But also, if you would please like this video, subscribe to our channel. We have had a little bit of a break in our channel. We moved over the summer and it has sort of been a nightmare since we moved. And I am really trying to get back into sharing the things that I love with you guys, a lot of which is homeschool stuff. And you guys liking and subscribing kind of lets me know what you want to see more of. So if you don't mind to do that, that would be amazing. The basics of Christmas school is that it really can be as intense as you want or as simple as you want. You're going to need either one book to do for the whole month, or if it's a very short book, sometimes you want to do multiple books. You could do one book a week. In the past, we have done multiple books. One year we did a variety of Jan Brett books. Last year we did Tommy DePaula books, a lot of his Stregonona books. This year we are doing The Little Christmas Carol, and this is an adaptation of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol with illustrations, and also the characters are all now, they're woodland animals instead of people. So everything that we do for Christmas school will be based on this book. And the thing that I love about it is it really provides an opportunity for more read aloud time with your kids. We read aloud almost every day, but because this is the book, this is your curriculum, you have to. And this holiday just sort of lends itself to cozying up on the couch with a fire or hot chocolate or tea or whatever, and snuggling together and reading a story. And because this is the base for your curriculum, again, it's not an additional thing. This is what school is. Out of this book, all of our activities will be based on things from either in the story or around this time period. And this would come from the Victorian time period of British literature. But from this, we will pull snacks and food projects. We will pull art projects. There will be history and geography pulled from this. There may be some science things, but honestly, I think the baking portion kind of covers most of the science things. I do know, since we are using Sarah Mackenzie's curriculum for this book, one of the science options is to make fog in a jar, because it does talk about like misty, foggy settings. And so I do know that we do have a science portion to this. Reading this is, you're reading for this curriculum. Writing, there are some writing projects that are tied to this, but if you were doing this on your own and you were not using this curriculum, your writing would be Christmas cards, letters to Santa, thank you cards. You could do copy work for Bible verses of Luke and the Christmas story. You could also do either copy work or memory work of different Christmas carols, different hymns, things like that. So essentially, if you wanted to create this on your own, you would just go through each of your subject areas and find something from the book that would corroborate and give you something in each of those subject areas. Now, all of those things I just mentioned would be if you wanted to completely replace all of your current school academics for the month of December with Christmas school. But again, the lovely thing about Christmas school is if you don't really feel like that's what's appropriate for your family, you don't have to. You can replace all the subjects, or you could replace just a few. For me personally, if I wasn't going to replace every single subject with Christmas school, then I would at least consider my reading, my writing, and maybe some art. Those three things I think are kind of, the really fun things as far as the holiday goes. And that would also leave you plenty of time to continue in your science and history curriculums, math and phonics if you wanted to. If you don't want to, however, this really can become something that covers every single area for you. So, like I said, our book for this year is Little Christmas Carol. But the biggest thing that I have to think about is that I have two very different ages to do Christmas school with. There's a huge difference between 3rd grade and 11th grade, which is the grades that we are technically operating within. So this is how I'm doing it for both of my kids this year, because I think the big kids need a break too. They might not cuddle up with you or want to do little kitty books, but big kids need a break also. This really just isn't for littles. So this year for Christmas school, we are basing everything off of A Christmas Carol. Although I will have Logan with us whenever we are doing our read aloud portion of this story. And I honestly may have him do some of the reading for us just to give him practice with reading aloud, because it's not something that is super common in older grades for homeschool families, especially if you have a smaller family like ours. But what we are choosing to do for Kevin, who's 9, he's in 3rd grade, we will continue with our phonics and math curriculum, because those are areas that I like to sort of stay consistent with him. When we did his math assessment at the beginning of this month, there were some areas that he struggled with. And so we paused in his curriculum. We've taken this last month to review those areas. I feel like he has a much better understanding of them now. So he's ready to move forward in his math curriculum. Phonics for us is just something that we stay as consistent with as possible as well, especially because in third grade, he's really moving more from phonics into grammar. And as we work to progress his writing, that is an important portion for me that I don't really want to take too many breaks from. So instead of getting rid of all of the subject, we will continue with phonics and math for the month of December. However, we are pausing science and history and his writing curriculum. And instead, we are replacing those with the activities for Christmas school. Some of those activities, I've looked through the curriculum, some of those activities are including candle making, a nativity craft. There are different drinks and cookies that we will be making in the kitchen. We're making luminaries. There is a watercolor lesson. There's ornaments from clay. There's a nature study. There's the fog in the jar craft or science thing that I talked about earlier. So all of that is going to replace what we would typically be doing for science and history. There are also some memory verses and some copywork options. And for his copywork, I have actually started moving him into cursive. Right now, he's just in the tracing portion of learning cursive. But that is what we are doing to replace some of his writing curriculum. And then again, like I said earlier, he will also be working on writing Christmas cards, letters to Santa, thank you cards for gifts, things like that. So that is how I'm doing it for Kevin. Now for Logan, since he is he's still doing tech school, his exams are on the 12th of December. He is actually going to attack Christmas school from a little bit of a different viewpoint. He is going to continue with his marine biology course that he is taking, and that's through me. He needed an additional science for his graduation credits. And so he chose to do marine biology for his science this year. So he is going to continue to do that throughout the month of December. He is also taking a British Lit this year. That is another course that he is doing through homeschool, not through the tech school. So this actually works really well for him because with this book, or the original Charles Dickens book, being in the Victorian period of British literature, it actually kind of does double duty for us in the fact that he gets to do Christmas school with us and be part of the story, and therefore can do some of those fun activities that I just listed, but also that he is covering a period in British literature that will go towards credit for that course. Now, not always does it line up this well. In this case, it did, and I was very excited about that. The other thing that I found, which was really great, and this is an interesting online resource that I have found, and I found it on Facebook, but it is Hillsdale College. It was an ad that popped up on my Facebook, and they offer some free courses online. Now, it kind of varies what they offer, but they happen to be offering a course on Charles Dickens and A Christmas Carol. It is a 6-video lesson course. After each lesson, and I think the lessons are about 30 minutes, after each lesson, there is a quiz, and then at the end of the course, there is like a final test, at which point you get a certificate to show completion of that course. And so it's completely free. It's all online. I signed them up for it. We've never done a course with them before, so I will have to let you know if we liked it, if it's worth it. But it was another option for him to still be involved in Christmas school as an older student, but also get something out of it as far as something he's already working on in his regular high school credit. And since he'll have a little bit of free time on his plate after his exams are done, I also am going to have him read the Winter series. This is one of the best series that I've ever read. It is completely based during the Christmas season. It's a 4-series book, the first one being A Soul as Cold as Frost. And the best way that I could describe this series would be like Narnia, but for teens and adults. It does have a very, very light romance theme in it, but it is very clean, and very similar to Narnia in the way that Narnia alludes to a Christian undertheme. This series very much does also. It is not considered a Christian book or a Christian book series, but the way that the information is presented, it's a good against evil kind of thing. It is a fantasy series, so that's really fun, you know, fairies and elves and stuff like that. But it is just the cutest series. I loved it as an adult. I will definitely be rereading it. And it's something that I feel is very fun for teens and kind of goes just with that winter theme and Christmassy vibe to just enjoy the season. And to bring a little bit of fun. I think, unfortunately, a lot of times our older kids, we get so focused on curriculum and credits and grades and transcripts that we forget they're just big kids too, and that they really deserve to enjoy this season just as much as the little kids do. So this is our 3rd year doing Christmas school. And every year we figure out a balance that is a little different. Some years, like this one, we continue with some academics and then include Christmas school with it. Other years, we only do Christmas school. And I can't even really plan what we're going to do for like upcoming years. I really just kind of take the pulse of where we are and see what do we need to do. If we are at a really great place in our academics and I feel like we could stop some of our regular stuff and then pick it back up in January, we do. Other years, like this year, we're just in a place where I feel like we need to continue some of our academics, but do the majority of Christmas school. And I think that's one of the things, again, that I like about it is that it is so flexible and that it can replace things, but it doesn't have to replace everything if that's just not where your family is. And, you know, it's fun, even though Lo will, you know, he'll kind of act like this is a little baby or it's a little bit beneath him. He loves Christmas. And so once we get the Christmas tunes rolling and we get, you know, the diffusers going and we start baking treats and stuff, I know he's going just to jump right into it. And he will be our little crazy, well, our big 6-foot crazy Christmas elf. For me though, it's just so wonderful that I feel that I don't have to add Christmas in on top of everything. Christmas for us just becomes part of our daily life and our daily curriculum. So I hope this video encourages you to break up a mundane season for a little while, to take a break, to sit down with a book and some hot chocolate or a cup of hot tea and really enjoy this season. And also just to remember that we get the privilege to homeschool in so many different ways. And for that, it's really worth bringing in a little bit of magic for this season. And by being able to do it in a way that is less stressful for us, just makes that magic shine a little bit brighter.